Hello, everybody. You have tuned in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm Sergeant Rich Myers with the Indiana State Police Public Information Office, District 52. Today with me is the president of the Indiana State Police Alliance that sponsors our show each and every week. And Dave, thank you very much for being here.
Rich, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming in here. Dave is the Alliance president, which sponsors the show. Also, Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance, sponsors our show each and every week. And we finally, through your busy schedule, were able to get you in here to talk to us. And we're glad to have you down here from the northern regions of Indiana. Has it snowed up there yet?
Not yet, but it's getting close.
It's getting close down here, so I know it's going to be getting close up there. So tell us a little bit about your career, Dave. How did you get started to be an Indiana State Trooper?
Well, born and raised in Rolling Prairie, Indiana, LaPorte County, just a few miles south of Michigan line. And went to New Prairie High School, graduated from St. Joe College in '93, and just always interested in a career in law enforcement. Looked at a few other agencies, but the state police is where I wanted to be, and knew a few troopers, did a few ride-alongs back in the day and some internships with some other police departments, but the state police is where I wanted to go. And
did you have any family in law enforcement?
Not in state police, but yes, in law enforcement. Some great uncles in Michigan City and LaPorte.
Okay.
A lot of military folks in my family, so I knew I wanted to wear a uniform, just not sure which uniform.
Went to the academy, and went to where from the academy?
So graduated the academy December 1993, signed to the Lowell District.
There you go.
Worked LaPorte and Porter County till '99. Did a short tour on the Blue Chip Casino when the state police was when we were on the boats.
That was probably an experience, wasn't it? I mean, something you're not going to get anywhere else.
It really was. I mean, I just did the year,
right?
But it was educational and honed a few investigative skills while I was there.
Exactly.
So, left the boat in April 2000 and then started working my way through the investigations division.
Now you're lieutenant in charge of investigations in...
Lieutenant in Area 1.
Area 1.
Covers the Lowell, Lafayette, and Peru districts.
Okay.
And, of course, we have some folks on our federal task forces up in northwest Indiana.
I'm sure
it keeps us pretty busy.
Exactly. I was going to say it probably keeps you very, very busy up there. So now we've covered your career in law enforcement. How did you get assigned or associated with the ISPA Alliance?
Been a member since day one, since I got out of the academy when we were allowed to join.
Right.
I was a board member, and I believe '06 I got on the board. And prior to that, I was always a member, but not real active. But I decided it was time to get more involved in the Alliance. I sat as the Area 1 board rep until last July.
Okay.
And the board asked me to run for president. The contest was a tough one. I was the only one that ran.
If you lost that was going to look bad.
It was going to be trouble. But no, I appreciated the board asking me to do that.
Yeah.
And it's certainly been a learning experience. Again, I was on the board for a few years, but until you sit in that president's seat, it's definitely an eye-opener. But it's been good, a little over a year now, and we're doing a lot of good things.
Well, for a lot of people maybe that aren't aware or know what the Indiana State Police Alliance is, tell us a little bit about the Alliance and what its goals are or objectives.
Well, and I wouldn't call it a motto, but on our shield it says "Serving Troopers since 1974," and that's really, I think, the forefront of what the Alliance is: serving our officers and serving their families, and whether it be through different programs, whether it be through legislative efforts, legal defense. I mean, all kinds of different things. We do a lot of benevolence programs. Of course, you mentioned Cops for Kids at the beginning, but
right.
I'll be honest. When I took over the presidency, my main goal was to serve the troopers and their families, and through all the various programs and functions that we do. So since 1974, we've been doing that. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary earlier this year in March, and we have a lot of other functions that the Alliance does. Of course, our Alliance Security gives the troopers an opportunity to work some off-duty employment through the Alliance, and of course we'll handle all the licenses and things that go along with that for the troopers, and all kinds of Alliance Security opportunities around the state and growing as we speak.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the inception of the Alliance, and it's been 40 years earlier this year, and we celebrated that, but how did this get started? Where did the Alliance come from? It was just an idea that we needed to have some support?
Well, I can't speak for the troopers that were thinking back then. Of course, I was 3 years old in 1974 when
you didn't have anything to do with it personally.
No, but I can say that there was a need to support and represent the troopers, and of course, we are not a union state like a lot of our National Trooper Coalition partner states are, and we are the voice for the troopers, whether it be legislatively. Of course, we don't have collective bargaining or binding arbitration or anything like that in the state, but we do have a strong voice and a voice that's been recognized for 40 years.
And that will be coming up here very shortly. I know you guys are getting geared up for the legislative process starting in early 2015. So what's on the agenda for the Alliance to look at?
The big three topics right now, and of course you never know until the session gets started of if there's going to be any other agendas or things we want to address, but probably the big three for us going in. Of course, we'll always continue to support the department's efforts on battling methamphetamines in the state of Indiana, and of course that battle is making pseudoephedrine a prescription, and the Alliance will stand behind that as well. Mm-hmm. It's not only good for the state of Indiana, but certainly good for our folks who are out there all the time battling that. We will continue to support the COLA, or the 13th check for our retirees, and that is for the pre-87 plan and the 87 plan. Okay. And I know that's going to be on the agenda again as well. Probably our biggest push this year, or not probably, but it is addressing our pay matrix, not only for the troopers, but for Capitol Police and our motor carrier folks as well. And as you know, Rich, the troopers have not had a pay increase to the matrix since the 07-08 bump.
Correct. Yeah.
And because we aren't a union state, there is no contract, so we're not going into contract negotiations or those kinds of things that our partnering states do. But it is time to address the matrix and see what we can do for our guys. Is
there something on the ISPA website, which I want to make sure you get that out there to everybody to look at, but is there something on there that would show a little more detail what you guys are looking at as far as a pay matrix, or is that available yet?
Not yet. We're still in the number crunching phase.
Okay.
We met last spring with the executive board and the district reps, and they basically polled the state, our members, and said, hey, what would you like to see in a pay matrix? Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of great ideas. A committee was formed, and they put those ideas on paper. And right now we're basically in the fiscal impact stage, where the department is crunching those numbers, how it's going to affect the state police budget, and then, of course, how's it going to affect our pension.
Right.
And that's where we're at. Of course, that's a lengthy process.
Yes.
And once those numbers are crunched, we will definitely get out to our members, hey, this is what we're looking at. And we're hoping for the best. It's certainly a leap of faith. You never know about state government and budgets and those kinds of things, but we're certainly going to try.
Well, good. Glad to hear that. Well, again, you've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and the Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. And I have the president of the Indiana State Police Alliance, Lieutenant Dave Kirkham, who's from the northern region of the states, down here to do some State Police Alliance meetings today, I think, and was kind enough to drop by and talk to us. Dave, let's talk a little more. I know one thing that the Alliance is in big with and supports a lot throughout the country, and probably a lot of people don't know about, civilian or sworn, is that we send a lot of troopers to other officers' funeral throughout the United States. And then if, God forbid, that we have an officer pass in the line of duty here, the Alliance is very much involved in that process.
Absolutely. So address your first comment about sending troopers. In fact, Lieutenant Tom McKee and Detective Steve Buckley left this morning to attend the funeral of the Pennsylvania state trooper that was killed over the weekend. We have been able to send troopers for many, many years. I believe there's 44 National Trooper Coalition states, and whenever possible, we like to send an Indiana State Police representative there. Generally, if it's a drivable distance, we'll send 2 troopers, and if it's certainly a location where we would best serve to fly, we'll send 1 trooper. And you never say you look forward to those kinds of things, but it's an unbelievable experience to see that. And unfortunately, most of us have been on the department for quite a few years, have certainly seen our own. And
yes,
it's quite a display, quite a brotherhood, and really an honor and a privilege to be able to do that and send our folks. And of course, many National Trooper Coalition states have sent their troopers as well when we have lost one of our own.
Well, that's what I was going to comment at. The outpouring of support from the other states whenever we send somebody, you can only imagine. But when you see those other states coming in here when, unfortunately, we do have an officer pass is just amazing.
Absolutely. And and one of the advantages of being a member of the Indiana State Police Alliance is the line of duty death benefit that your spouse or your beneficiary will receive, and that's a $10,000 benefit. Additionally, your spouse or beneficiary will receive $2,500 from the National Troopers Coalition, and it's something to help take a little weight off the shoulders while those first early days when you're going to need to, pay the car bills and the mortgage and those kinds of things, and it's certainly something that we want to do for our members and their families.
And I know something that's kind of new that we've talked about, or that I was made aware of, is Just Because Fund. When somebody needs help just because, you guys have started that fund.
For many, many years, we've done the Pass the Hat, matching funds, trooper in need, a family member in need, I'm sorry, and it just has come out of the general fund. And, of course, the Alliance will always continue to support our troops and their families. But I had reason to look at the budget and say, you know what? I hate raising dues. Everybody hates an extra dollar or two out of their check. But what if we added an extra dollar to your biweekly dues and just pushed that money into a benevolence fund? But I didn't want to do anything without certainly the support of the members. We put that out, I believe, last spring and got an overwhelming response statewide. And I'm pleased to say that started up in July. And I believe we've probably got 4 or 5 checks worth into that. And unfortunately, we've already had to use it to help a trooper and his family. And I say unfortunately, you never want to have to do that, but the fund is there. And I'm just tickled and thrilled that our guys would rally behind that. And I certainly don't miss the extra dollar. You don't even know it's out of there, but the fund is growing. And it's just peace of mind that I know when a trooper or family's in need, they can call, and we don't have to scramble where the money's going to come from. The benevolence fund is there.
That's great. That's great to know. Well, we got a little over about 3 minutes left here, and one thing I want to touch on, we have a little bit, but maybe something our retired officers don't know that's available to them and to active officers is the Indiana State Police security. So
absolutely,
let's hit on that.
Alliance Security, a great opportunity for our active and retired members to work some outside employment. Of course, if you're retired, that might be your only employment, but we have contracts throughout the state in various capacities. Some are, every day. Some are one hits where a company may call up and say, hey, we need this service. Can you provide it? The Alliance carries all the liability, all the licenses, everything. So a company, it's great for them because all they have to do is sign the contract and cut the check, and they don't have to worry about any of that. And they're getting, as you know, highly trained Indiana State Police officers and retirees, and there's no mistake that we're not going to give them a quality product.
If somebody's interested in that, how would they go about it? Is there training for that, or do they have to go through certain?
Well, then you just contact the State Police Alliance. If you're a member or a retiree, a retired Alliance member, of course,
right,
and you're interested in that, contact the State Police Alliance office. Wayne Flick.
Okay.
Is
What's the number there
director.
to contact you at?
So the toll-free is 800-382-1104 and 317-636-0929.
Okay.
Kelly Ford will get you signed up, and we're always looking for new opportunities for the guys. I said we're doing very well around the state, but it's always nice to get some new clients.
Well, it's good to have that possible extra financial assistance if they need it, and it gives a chance to get out and see the guys that are still working and talk and have a social fellowship with them, and it's something that, again, you don't have to worry about the financial or the liability part of it because you're taken care of on that, and now everything's taken care of through the Alliance. Well, we got about a minute left. Anything else you want to hit on the?
I would just add, obviously, for the public or for anyone who's interested on that benevolence fund, we can also take tax-deductible donations to that fund as well.
Okay.
If there's somebody out there, a company, individual that I would like to do that to help the troopers, they can donate to the benevolence fund.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming down here, and
thank you.
Thanks for showing up, and you're welcome back anytime. And thank you for sponsoring the show every week. We appreciate you being here.
We enjoy it.
Well, again, you've been listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm Sergeant Rich Myers from District 52 Public Information Office. President of the ISPA, Dave Kirkham, Lieutenant from the Area 1 Investigations Division, has been with us today. We've been talking about the Indiana State Police Alliance and all that it does for the troopers. for the Indiana State Police. We appreciate their continued support each and every week of this show, and that without them, we wouldn't be here. Remember, as we go away, make sure that you stay buckled up. It's your best form of safety, and for goodness sakes, make sure you keep those kids in the car seat. It's our next generation. Thanks again. Bye-bye.